Okay, welcome back everybody. So it looks like the next thing on my to-do list here is a life system. Okay, so basically we're going to give the player like 3 lives, and after that they die. So let's go to let's do it in player ship. Let's go to player ship. Scroll down here, we're going to go add component. Let's go find Playmaker, Playmaker FSM, and I'm going to call this a life system. Put it in here. Let's go ahead and edit this. And so the way this is going to work, we're going to basically initialize to some values, to some default values. Life equals max life, basically. Then we're going to wait for a collision or trigger. And once that trigger occurs, we're going to update our lives, and we're going to go back and wait for another collision. We're going to get that working, then we're going to add some to it. So state 1 is going to be initialize. Then we're going to have a state over here, which is going to be, I'm going to call this alive. And then I'm going to have another state over here. I'm going to call this state update lives, like so. Alright, so we're going to need some events. We're going to start off with initialize, add transition. We'll use our finished event. It's going to go over here. So whenever we collide with something, so we're going to have a collision event. I'm going to call it a collision event. Now be careful here. I'm calling this a collision event. Do not confuse that with the system collision events. That's not what I'm doing. So actually, let me just clarify it even better. I'm going to call this a collision occurred event. There we go. So I'm going to go to alive, add transition, collision occurred. Yeah, I almost never use system events. I use the finished one pretty much. That's about it. Add transition finished will come back up here. Alright, so there we go. We're off and running so far. So in our initialize, we're going to set up our current lives to be our max lives. So we're going to do a set int value. Now you might say, well, why don't we just set our lives to be whatever it is? Why do we have to have a variable for our max lives? And the reason is really just going to be for testing purposes. By the way, I'm creating variables right here. And what I mean by testing variables is, or testing purposes, is as we get to a point where we want to set up that our, we want to make sure that he dies at the end after he loses lives. We don't want to wait until he loses 3 lives. We just want, hey, so that way we can quickly initialize it to this maximum lives. Okay, so that's what we did there in initialize. So we'll come over here to our live. We're going to do an action. We're going to do a couple of trigger events. So trigger event 1 is going to be an on trigger enter with a enemy laser. We're going to send an event as a collision occurred, and we're going to go ahead and store that. Store that as a collision object, whatever it is we hit. And we're going to do another action browser trigger event on trigger enter tag with the enemy. We're going to send another collision occurred event, and we're going to store this as a collision object as well. Alright. Remember, we said we're going to update our enemy colliding with the player when we got to the live systems. Well, we just did right there. Okay, so update lives. First thing we're going to do, we're going to do a int add, and we're going to do our current lives -1. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to do an action browser. We're going to do a destroy object, and the object we're going to destroy is going to be whatever it is we collided with. When we're done with those things, we're going to come back over here to alive. Okay, so this is the beginning of our life system. There's some things we're going to add to it, but let's start with this. Let's see if this works. So let's go ahead, come over here, get rid of that. So my max lives, I'm going to set this up to be a 3. And basically I want to see if my current lives changes as we collide with things. Okay, so there we go. We're at a 3. Collide with me. I'm at a 2. I'm at a 1. Okay, no, quit. I want to test a laser. Somebody shoot a laser at me. Shoot me. There we go. And I'm at a 0. No, stop. There was another laser I wanted. Shoot me. Shoot me. No. Yes. Dang it, I missed. Okay, I can see that the lasers are also working, so our collision's working. Alright, good progress so far. Except instead of finished, right here what I want to do is add state spawn. Now let's call this respawn delay. Respawn delay. So basically before the player reappears, if you will, they are going to, we're going to have a slight delay. So let's do respawn delay, action browser. We're going to have a wait. Not much of a wait. Let's go with a 0.015 for the moment, okay? Once that is done, we're going to have it finished. We're going to have a new state, and this state is going to be respawn. And we're going to have to do some tweaking here, but it's cool. We're getting there. So no, I don't want to use finished event. I'm going to do a delay, create a custom event, delay finished event. Add transition, delay finish is going to go down here to respawn. Once respawn is finished, we'll come back up here to live. Delay finished, okay. Come on, you. Switch sides, there we go. Okay, so what do I want to occur in respawn? Well, there's a couple things I'm going to want happening here. One is going to be, let's see. Yeah, I'm thinking for a minute. Blah, 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 blah. Respawn delay right here. Okay, here's what I want. I'm simply going to make my ship invisible for just a minute. So easiest way to do that is going to be to do boom, 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 boom. Where can we move our ship? Let's do some smoke and mirrors on this. Let's move. I'm going to move our ship to right here. No, actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump the ship up to here for just a minute, way up here. This is going to be 0, 10, and 0 is what I'm going to do. I'm doing smoke and mirror stuff. And the reason I'm doing this is if there's any chasing guys, they're going to go vroom up there. So actually, instead of that, let's just zoom it back here. So that's what they're going to do. They're going to go chase back there. Okay. So that'll be what? Negative 15 and 4. Okay. So in my respawn delay, I'm going to go ahead and do an action browser. Set my position. I'm going to do that before my wait, right up here. My X is going to be, I said negative 15, I believe. And my Y, I believe I said, is going to be 4. This is going to be world space. Just going to jump over there. And then for my respawn, now that I'm ready to make my player visible again, I'm going to do an action browser, set position again, and let's see, I want to use my owner. It's going to be world space. Let's see, let's do a couple get positions here. Let's do a get position right here. I could have done like a move to, jump to, and let me take a look at that really quick. So I've got to move towards, yeah, this is I'm just going to do it this way. So I'm going to get my position. I'm going to put this up here. I'm not going to use the owner. What I'm going to do, I'm going to specify the object I want the position of, and the object I want the position of is going to be player spawn point. I'm going to store my X, new variable, POS X, and then I'm going to store my Y, new variable, POS Y, like so. World. Okay, then I'm going to set for my player to POS X and POS Y, like so. Looks good. Come over here to our variables. Let's grab our player spawn point, make it an inspector. Nice. Okay, let's see what we got. And we're almost done with that. So we're going to scroll down here. My player spawn point is going to be player spawn point. Put it right there. All right, let's see what happens. So let's have kill me. So he went back there, but notice he wasn't back there for long. So, maybe we want them back there a little bit longer. It's kind of up to us. Let's go ahead and let's say we increase that respawn delay just this little bit. So it's 0.15. Let's say it's 0.25, a quarter second. And I could actually make that a variable. That might be long enough. I'm not really sold on it yet though, so I'm going to go with a 0.5, like so. Half a second delay. Because eventually I'm going to want some stuff happening there too. Yeah, I like that. That's better for now. Okay, almost there. So now we got to do one other thing. So let's move our update lives over to here. We've got this finished event. Let's get rid of that. I don't want that one. And I'm going to need... No, I'm sorry, I do want that one. But that one is going to go to an add state, and this state is going to be check lives. You know what? I can actually do it right up there in my update lives instead of another state. So yeah, I was right. Let's go ahead and delete this transition. And I'm going to make two events. One event is still alive, and the other event is dead. Is dead. We'll do it that way. Add, well, I'm going to need that. I'll put that down there. Add transition, still alive. If we're still alive, we're going to go down and respawn. Add transition is dead. So if we're dead, we're going to come down here to this state. This state I'm going to call dead, like so. And in the dead state, what I'm going to do is, what do I want to do? Let's go with action browser. We're going to do a few things. We're going to go with an enable FSM, so the player's not going to be able to do some stuff. Move is one thing they can't do anymore. They can't do the other move. They can't do that. Action browser. They can't jump. And they can't shoot. There we go. The other thing I want to do is I'm just going to bump them straight to the left off screen here. So I'm going to go action browser, set position. I'm going to make my X this time. Oh no, pause. No, not that. None. It's going to be a -15. World space still. So what I've done is when they die, I'm going to move them off screen back here. Turn off all of these so they can't move, and eventually display something on the screen saying, hey, you died, did you know that? But for the moment, this is all we're going to do. And make sure these are, turn these off, not turn them on. Like so. There we go. And our still alive will go down here and do our respawn delay. So let's see, how do we figure this out? Well, we're going to go action browser, do a float compare. The float we're going to compare is going to be our... Nope. Did I do float compare? Somebody hit me. Remove action. I want an int compare. There we go. And I need it down here. The int I'm going to compare is going to be my current lives. And if it is 0, if it is greater than 0, you're still alive. If it is less than 0, you're dead. If it is equal to 0, you're still alive. You're on your last life. If it is equal to 0, you came in here with 1 life left. You subtracted that 1. You have 0 lives left. So you still have the 1 life you're playing. So if it is equal, you're still alive. If it's greater than, you're still alive. If it's less than, you died. Alright, let's see how all of that works. So let's get rid of this. Die a couple times. Oh, I'm dying. Yeah, right. I'm not trying to kill them. Okay, so I died once. My lives are now 2. Shoot me! I died. My lives is 1. My lives are 0. Get me, get me, get me. I'm dead. See over here, I'm dead. Now we've still got our AIs flying through. So that's just fine. Notice I can't move. I can't do anything. Kind of... Oops. Did I do my sticky keys? I thought I did this in another video. No, I don't want my sticky keys on. Quit. Okay, so my player is basically dead, and it's at this point I could display a message right here saying, hey, you died. Alright, so we got player lives working. And next up is going to be our user interface where we start displaying some of this stuff to the player. So hey, yeah, that's where we're going to go next. Any questions? Drop them down below.